tell folks a little bit about who you are?
I'm Jay Ashpaw. Been going to Crossroads since about 2004. My wife Casey, son Alaric, and my daughter Delana.
So tell me a little bit about your life, because I've heard your testimony. Tell me a little bit about your life prior to knowing Christ, prior to giving your life to the Lord.
Just a lot of mostly living for worldly things, just cars and having fun and having a good time, not really worrying about anybody else, except what wouldn't be apt to help people as much. Just taking care of myself and my family was all I really cared about. If we were living, things were good. Going out and having a good time, things like that. I was a non-believer. Even when I started going to Crossroads, I was a non-believer. Went for about 4 years, but it was just that exposure that slowly just led me to start hearing the words from the pastors, and I started to question what I was going to live for, and what the way I was living wasn't really how I wanted to live the rest of my life, and I just kind of wanted to find those answers. So I just started asking questions and researched things, the whole scientific side of things, atheism, agnostics, and the only real truth that really came up was when I looked at the Bible and I asked if God was really there. That was the only truth that really came out.
So you grew up and you had some exposure to religion. You maybe even had a belief in God, or at least that other people did.
Yeah, I grew up in Lutheran church. Went to school there. When I left home at 18, graduated, left for the Army the same day, and to kind of take off a Wayne's thing. The only time I really went to church was in Ranger School on Sunday. They had church service, and I just went there so I could sleep, because the instructors couldn't mess with you if you were in chapel service. So,
okay. So we're on these military guys. So be gut level honest. I know Casey was at Crossroads and coming and enjoying that and things, but when you first were invited by Casey to come, what was your first thought? And then when you first went, what went through your mind in terms of coming and seeing people who believed in God and worshiped God and whatever?
A bunch of crazy people, a bunch of sheep, following somebody for nothing. I mean, it just seemed pointless to me. Like, people would show up, and do the things they did. The day it hit me, that it was all real. I mean, my whole perspective changed. It really changed my life.
Talk about that day.
I just, was really struggling with, where I was going with my life. And, I was just sitting there, and it came to a point, I just said, God, you're really there. And, I didn't see a bright light and hear harps and, trumpets, but I just felt something inside that, was a resounding yes.
So Jay's not a perfect guy today, but what's different about Jay today than 10 years ago?
Just some of the biggest changes are, my family relationships. We're a lot closer as a family as, me and Casey. And just, the whole timeline of, when I gave my life to Christ, started helping with the sound in Wasion, and a few months later we started the Henry County Connecting Group, and, who was going to be the sound guy. And, the greatest accomplishment of my life to this point is God choosing, to use me to start this in Napoleon. And, it's His timing, and it wouldn't have happened, had I just opened the door and been willing to give, give God a chance and benefit of the doubt, and now, you know, from accepting and, you know, our relationship growing, and then all the way to yesterday, you know, met with one of the guys from our men's group, Saturday morning men's group in Wasion, and he really challenged me, and challenged me to, because I hate reading. You know, I don't read the Bible. I don't, you know, pray as much as I should. You know, I struggle with my sinful nature every day. But he just, you know, boldly challenged me. He said, you know, you need to get up earlier every morning and read. And that's the only way you're gonna, you know, overcome these, you know, everyday struggles. So, you know, it's a challenge. And, you know, he's really, you know, meeting guys like that in this church and growing these relationships. You know, you got to get involved and, you know, grow your relationships within this church. And you're going to have guys challenge you like that, but it's the only way you're going to really grow in your faith.
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate that. Give Jay a